Stern on a former boss. I hope you're in a men's room in a gas station and some guy comes in, a very effeminate guy but powerful, pushes you over the sink, pulls your pants down, and gives you the hot beef injection and delivers the deadly AIDS into your system. Stern then continued, saying that he wished the boss would bleed into his children's cereal, also infecting them with the virus.
At that point, Howard Stern is not a danger. Howard Stern is a pitiful, rancorous, attacking moron. The dangerous person is the person who has the responsibility to fill that time slot with an entertaining personality and allows that person to say those things. The dangerous person has to be Mel Karmazin then. He has to be the one who has abused his right to express what freedom of speech is.
It's pretty brutal. It's brutal. And, you know, as a Stern listener, I actually would be laughing at that. So, I mean, the people who understand the show recognize Howard as a comedian, and even in insane statements like that, realize this is, he's colorfully expressing the extent of his anger. I mean, if you gave him I know, and anybody with half a brain knows, if you handed Howard AIDS in a needle and pulled the guy in the room and said, go ahead, inject Howard, Howard wouldn't even drop the needle in a second. The point is, he's trying to express just how angry, just how hurt and how hateful the kind of hate he has for this guy. Should he be able to say that? Yeah, he should be able to say it. Should people take it seriously? No, they shouldn't. Are there people that do? Unfortunately, that's the real problem.
Yeah, that's a great quote. I would have said it myself if I had thought of it. I probably would have said it. But, you know, if I was drinking beer and all drunk, or just if I was on the radio, I would have said it too.
Mel Karmazin, or whoever was responsible for allowing Howard to remain on the air for 1 second after that statement was made, for 1 second, has performed a great disservice to an entire generation of people who listen to radio, look to it for entertainment, because if they believe that that is the right way to do it, then we are in deep trouble.
I'm not here to defend him. He says a lot of things he should never say, but that I know he don't mean to kill and give people AIDS. That's terrible. And again, that's going to eat him up when his kids hear about that, and they'll throw it to those kids. You know, that's sad. That's sad. He doesn't understand that. And let me tell you what I believe. I believe his mother and father are ashamed of him. I really believe that. There are certain things that he said that they're ashamed of him, but they can't do it, and it's too late. He's already gone and done what he's done already. He's had 2 big books. What's his mother going to say? He's, hey, shut up. You like to eat? You like to play tennis? That's all, so they can't say nothing.
Self-proclaimed king of media, Howard Stern, Howard Stern. Self-proclaimed king of media, Howard Stern, Howard Stern. Self-proclaimed king of media, Howard Stern, Howard Stern. Self-proclaimed king of media, Howard Stern, Howard Stern.
In a democracy, we have a sense that we are worthwhile people, and worthwhile people have morals, they have values. There is a feeling, and rightly so, that we are more than just our animal instincts, that in order for a society to flourish, there has to be a certain number of rules. And the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you, seems to be something that most societies have that are not dead-end societies that don't disappear off the face of the earth.
You think that over the last 20 years or so there's been a moral decline in our society?
Collapse, not a decline. It's a complete collapse.
I think to some extent the media is honest in saying that they have only reflected that decline, but the media is too powerful in this society to not have contributed to it.
And such problems tend to grow grain by grain, and finally the whole mountain falls down. It's not that they started on January the 4th. They get away with something on January the 4th, and somebody else sees that and says, well, I can say that. See, I just said hell. So it's little bit by little bit that the great harm is done.
There's no world of entertainment. Today everything is like, you know, whatever you want to say, you just say it. Whether it's funny or not, people just say what they want to say. Values have changed. The country's going into the toilet.
What's good about Stern is that he exposes the ludicrous nature of the ratings war, that the more bizarre and outrageous you are, the more you are given lucrative contracts and given a broad audience. So from those of us that have a hard time explaining to people, Stern personifies that. What's bad is that he's vile and vulgar. James Brown, who's very close to me, got me to do his show twice. And Stern is not serious about anything. Stern is serious about ratings and selling books and all of that. And I think that that's what I take Stern as. Stern is a successful joke, and I think he's an embarrassment on the media. And the reason I don't fight Stern like I do Grant is because I think that Stern represents all that we try to say, and that is that American media culture has gone so low to a guy like Stern has a broader audience than someone serious, whether it be William Buckley or whether it be Ralph Nader. And I think that Stern is a state of the affairs of the American media phenomenon.
Do I think Howard Stern is tasteless? Sometimes he's tasteless. Do I think he does things that are sometimes sadistic? Yes, he does. He does have a right to do that. He's an entertainer. It is his form of entertainment.
Again, I think if Howard Stern were doing a nightclub act with consenting adults in our society, I mean, there still might be a few criticisms of some of this nonsense, but from a First Amendment perspective, I think he'd be probably within his, fully within his rights.
Whether or not people choose to listen to it, whether or not they choose to allow their children to listen to it, is a matter of personal responsibility.
But it's because he's chosen a broadcast medium which goes into virtually every home in the United States of America. And contrary to what the defenders of this garbage say, no parent, even if the only concern was children, cannot control every child 24 hours a day, and we all know that growing numbers of children don't have the kind of parents that are responsible to provide that kind of supervision.
Big deal. What does Howard do? Maybe use a few four-letter words? You think these kids haven't heard them anyway? If they haven't, at least they should.
I think he's really funny. I think Howard Stern's funny too. I think it's hilarious.
You do?
The reason why these four-letter words are shocking is because the vocabulary is being suppressed.
How old are you?
14? 14.
And you listen with your youngster to Howard Stern, and you let your youngster talk about what he or she's getting out of it and how they feel. Because the only way you can make grown-up judgments is to be exposed to things of all kinds.
I think nighttime should be a certain kind of entertainment, daytime certain kind of entertainment. Things should be taken away from children that they're not supposed to know. Years ago, here was a cliche: children should be seen and not heard. I don't want my kids involved in adult business.
Is Howard Stern's book carried in any high school libraries?
I wouldn't know.
These are children. They have to mold their mind. These kids become dead on the brains. That's the sad part. We got to treat children as children. Kuchi. I don't see that no more.
Would you be for or against that?
You know, I think it's up to the high schools to make that decision. You know, I'm not in the business of education.
We have never before been, as a people now, Americans, in a state where there is massive profit in every form of vulgarity and pornography, and in which we are not talking about human weaknesses. We are all weak, we are all sinful, but vulgar, vile, sickening behavior of which the perpetrators are proud and are proudly marketing and expect to be respected for the very evil they do. It's tough enough to get respected for the virtue you do in the world, if any. But when people are proud of their depravity, and defending it philosophically and hiring people to defend it for them, publicists, lawyers, etc., you are in a very sick society.
Have you ever heard of Howard Stern?
Yeah.
You ever listen to his show?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
A lot?
Well, particularly with Infinity, I would never tell anyone to write a letter to Infinity Broadcasting. I think they have evidenced for years an absolute total indifference to the well-being of the community as a whole, and particularly to the children, the teenagers, to listen to this guy. The only thing that, in my opinion, matters to Infinity Broadcasting is the buck. And they have made an awful lot of money on Howard Stern. And community responsibility, social responsibility, in my opinion, is not part of the corporate plan of Infinity Broadcasting. It will be interesting to see whether Westinghouse, which at least historically has had a far better reputation than Infinity, will follow the profit-only motive, the community and the children of this country be damned approach of Infinity.
You ever hear of Howard Stern?
Yeah.
You ever listen to him?
Yeah, sometimes.
You like his show?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
I like his jokes and stuff.
How old are you?
I'm 11.
What are the best 3 words you could use to describe his show?
3 words. He's really cool.